Chapter 8. Jackson's nerves were shot by the time Monday rolled around. His apartment was impeccably clean with no dirty shorts in sight. He'd borrowed a bottle of cinnamon-scented room spray from Miss Lewis and spritzed it all around. Duke whimpered pitifully from inside Jackson's bedroom. His dog was unused to such treatment, but Jackson didn't want Aaron to be surprised by a big brute charging him at the door. On his white marble kitchen island, a collection of animal crackers, orange pop bottles, and candy rested alongside a fruit tray, in case Kaleigh nixed the junk food. He wanted to be a good host and remembered how Aaron loved snacks, but he hoped Kaleigh wouldn't think this was too over the top. Finally, his phone buzzed with a text from Kaleigh saying, "We're here." Jackson strode out of his apartment, choosing to jog down the stairs and release some of his nervous energy instead of taking the elevator, and hurried toward the building's front door. He could see Kaleigh and Aaron approaching through the glass. Kaleigh had straightened her hair, and she wore a flattering blue V-neck tee. She made cargo capris and strappy sandals look designer. He swallowed and shoved the door open. "Hey, guys." Aaron burst out, "This is the best house ever." He bounced on the toes of his superhero shoes. "Thanks," Jackson chuckled. "My apartment's upstairs. I was hoping someone could push the elevator button for me." I will." Aaron ran ahead to prove he was up for the task. They passed through the luxurious lobby and piled into the elevator. Jackson looked for Kaleigh's reaction, but she was quiet, studying their surroundings. They exited to his floor's long hall. After a quick glance at the ceiling, she said, I guess whoever designed this complex must have decided that one chandelier wasn't enough." "It is a little much, isn't it?" Jackson said, though he had never thought about it before now. From childhood, he was used to staying in nice hotels whenever his dad had a convention for work, and his childhood home had as many floors as the building they were standing in. Jackson keyed into his apartment, wanting to get through the entryway as quickly as possible, but Kaleigh slowed in the threshold. She eyed the small abstract sculptures on the glass tables, which had been included when he signed his lease. He prayed she wouldn't notice that they were originals. "I hope we don't mess anything up," she crossed her arms. "No, don't worry about that. It's usually a mess, honestly. I just wanted to make sure it looked nice for you." "Well, I'm sure if Aaron knocks something over, it would be easy enough for you to replace it." "That's right," Jackson said, slightly unnerved by her cool tone. "Anyway, the kitchen's through here." He threw his hand over his shoulder and led the way. The snack collection did put a smile on Kaleigh's face. Jackson's shoulders sagged in relief. "Are all these for us?" Aaron asked. "They sure are. Mommy, can I get some?" "Go ahead." While his fingers curled around a bag of crackers, he asked, "Can I get more than one thing?" "Oh, just get what you'd like. Today is a special occasion." "Hooray! 2 special egg-cations in 1 week," Aaron said. He fisted a chocolate bar, tucked a pop under his arm, and ran to the living room. Kaleigh put some grapes for herself on a paper plate before following. "Thanks for this," she told Jackson. "Don't mention it." "That's the biggest TV I ever saw," Aaron shouted, having already plopped down on the couch. Kaleigh winced at the sight of his bottle of pop sloshing up and down in his hand. "Here, honey, let me open that for you." Meanwhile, Aaron put his finger on the glowing recliner button and watched the legs of the sofa extend. "I have powers," he whispered reverently. After this statement, Jackson and Kaleigh kept their laughter quiet, not wanting to spoil his fun. Kaleigh sat down next to Aaron, and Jackson lowered himself next to her. Her eyes passed over the 90s family flick Jackson had found to stream on the flat screen. "Wow, that's a blast from the past." Jackson ran his fingers over the top of his coiffure. "I wasn't sure what shows kids like nowadays, but I figured this was safe enough." He vaguely remembered the movie storyline from his own childhood. A little girl ran away from home to enjoy adventures in the big city. Aaron seemed enthralled. What do you normally watch? Kaleigh asked Jackson. Hockey. That got Aaron's attention. Hockey? Jackson shrugged. Yeah, I used to play a little. If you're okay with dogs, in a minute I'll run to my room and bring out my college trophies. Duke was scratching the bedroom door anyway. It would be nice to set him free. Really, though, Jackson didn't want to invite them to see and then have to explain the luggage pushed beside his bed. I love dogs. Good. Jackson leaned back and crossed his arms behind his head. I was a decent hockey player. Actually, I was scouted for the pros, but my dad didn't think sports was a serious enough career. So if hockey's over, what are you going to do now? Kaleigh asked. The question took his breath away. Calm down, Jackson told himself. It's not as if she knows about Costa Rica. I guess I'm just looking to try something different. It must be nice to float around without a plan. Kaleigh bit her lip and then glanced at Aaron. In a lower tone, she said, Sorry, I'm trying not to be so harsh to people. She shrugged her shoulder. I've worked hard to get where I'm at, and now the hard work is paying off. Was being a PTA always the plan? Kaleigh laughed. Ironically, I was thinking about pro sports too. I wanted to be an athletic trainer for soccer players, if I couldn't cut it as an athlete myself. What happened? He trailed off, looking at Aaron. She smiled. Fate had better things in mind. Or God did. Kaleigh's mouth puckered. Anyway, do you still skate? I do. I have to drive a little farther than I'm used to, but there's a rink 30 miles from here. We should go sometime. Kaleigh scoffed. Ice skating? Yeah, he said, all three of us. A bark came from his bedroom, and Jackson hopped to his feet. Stay here, okay, buddy? He told Aaron. Jackson opened the door slightly and wrapped an arm around Duke. The dog fairly dragged him to the couch in his eagerness to greet their visitors. Aaron leapt off his seat with equal excitement, and Duke licked Aaron's hands happily. The kid screamed in laughter, yanking his fingers away. After he was sure that Jackson was keeping Duke still, Aaron reached out again to touch the top of Duke's head. The big ham of a dog collapsed to the floor so he could get a belly rub too, sticking his paws in the air. His tongue lolled out of his mouth as he cocked his head and looked at Aaron expectantly. After that, Aaron had eyes for nothing else, not even Jackson's magical couch. The two fast friends hung out on the floor together for the rest of the visit. He liked this laid-back version of Aaron, who usually seemed so reserved for an almost 5-year-old boy. Jackson seemed to be making strides with both Aaron and his mom. He knew he would have to tell Kaleigh about Costa Rica eventually, but he'd wait until he figured out more of the details, like how he could make sure they were cared for while he was away, and how to stop Kaleigh from withdrawing from him. He had let her down before by letting things with Ava drag on too long. And Jackson knew it was unlikely Kaleigh would forgive him if he made a second mistake. Watching her and Aaron fill his living room with love and laughter, Jackson wanted to keep them just like this. Later that afternoon, Jackson met Isaac at the church to prepare for their scheduled food donation drop-off. The town had given generously during the Fall Fest, and they'd come away with an envelope of cash plus several weighty boxes of canned goods to deliver to the local charity. Isaac had his own key to the church, so they quickly entered the quiet building, flipped on the lights, and transferred the boxes from the fellowship hall into the back seat of Isaac's truck. Thanks for helping me out, Isaac grunted under the weight of his heavy load. No problem, Jackson answered. That's one benefit of shift work. I'm available at different times than anyone else is. Tell me about it. Isaac would understand as a work-from-home computer programmer. After the last box was loaded, they both stepped into the cab. Jackson didn't comment on the country music that blasted out when Isaac turned on the ignition. They may have come from the same state, but Isaac was a corn-fed Iowan through and through. Instead, Jackson looked out the window, the Taylor's visit on his mind. Something bothering you? Isaac asked as he pulled the truck out of the church lot. Is Kaleigh still giving you a hard time? No, we're doing much better, actually. She even agreed to go ice skating with me. There's just one problem. What's that? Isaac regarded him from underneath his curtain of shaggy black bangs. There is no other way to say this, Jackson thought. Maybe telling Isaac would be good practice for breaking the news to Kaleigh. I'm scheduled to go to Costa Rica in January. Okay, Isaac said slowly. For a vacation? No, for a year. In high school, my counselor made us take this quiz about the things we'd be good at. All my careers had to do with travel, and I read about people who live overseas and plan activities for the locals. It's been my dream ever since. You make it sound almost glamorous. Those I've known who've gone into the mission field had to sacrifice a lot. I'm not explaining it well enough. I mean, yeah, I want to do good there. I'd be doing good and helping myself at the same time. What's wrong with that? Isaac pressed his lips together. I'm sure whatever group you're going with has people who change their mind all the time. What happens if you turn them down? There's no real penalty, but I wouldn't get accepted a second time. And you're not sure that you want to stay here. I want to stay. Jackson pressed his temple against the window. I'm just not sure that if I do, I won't have any regrets. I'm finally making progress with Kaleigh, so I can't be on the fence with my commitment. It wouldn't be fair. I need to be sure. Maybe she'd wait for you to finish. Now that I know more about her responsibilities, I'm realizing that I would be asking a lot. When I think about giving up my plans, it feels wrong. But when I think about leaving Kaleigh and Aaron alone, that feels wrong too. I'll keep you in my prayers, man. It can be hard to know what to do sometimes. I'm sure it'll all work out. Yeah. Jackson had tried to pray too in a similar way to the verses which Isaac had highlighted in the Bible. But every time he got to, Thy will be done, Jackson choked. Was he really prepared to let go of what he wanted, even if Costa Rica wasn't a part of God's plan at all? Jackson's hands tensed as, through the windshield, he watched a motorcycle zip around a vehicle in the opposite lane. He turned his gaze completely to stare out the side window, still jumpy about watching oncoming traffic after his car accident. If Isaac noticed, he didn't say anything. He pulled into the backside of a slate-colored warehouse where a group of teenagers wearing orange vests and black gloves were waiting for them. Jackson hopped out to assist them in unloading the goods into a gigantic rolling bin. An older woman with a clipboard emerged and instructed the volunteers on what foods would go on what shelves inside. She turned to Isaac, who had rolled his window down. Would you like the donation weighed for tax purposes? No, that's all right, he said. Peering in at the distribution center's inventory, Jackson was amazed at how much food the local pantry had amassed. How many people do you serve? Jackson asked the woman. Thousands every year, she replied. They drive in from multiple counties to get food, referrals, or counseling. I had no idea. Jackson had signed up to help with the food drive to be a part of a church activity, but now he was happy to be a small part of what was going on there. How did this all get started? From a government program? No, we do get help from a national organization, but I started this center 5 years ago. I've been in a place where I needed help, and I wanted to be there for others. That's amazing, Isaac said. Well, it's been great to meet you. She shook their hands, and you as well. Thank you for your donation. Jackson nodded and got back in the passenger seat. Now that's service, Isaac remarked. You can serve anywhere if you're thinking of the people more than of yourself. His comment landed uncomfortably in Jackson's gut like a wriggling worm. Jackson rubbed the top of his thighs. I just need some more time to think. That's understandable, Isaac said. He pulled down his sun visor and met Jackson's eyes. Just don't wait too long.